Todd Chrisley has admitted that he threatened another inmate while he was in federal prison. This is shocking for fans to hear, as Todd is not a violent person. However, he was not playing around, and he was dead serious when it came to what he said. He will always stand up for and protect his children. This is exactly what he was doing. There is a lot to unfold and uncover when it comes to this. Keep reading to find out more about this situation. Todd Chrisley was in federal prison for tax evasion and fraud. However, he was pardoned along with his wife, Julie Chrisley. The two got out and have been putting their lives back together piece by piece. Since his release, Todd has been open to talking about his experience. However, he is still denying that he and his wife did anything wrong. Although he is not afraid to talk about his experiences in prison or how it was without his family, fans have been keeping up with them since their show, Chrisley Knows Best. So they do have a lot of people supporting them now that they are out. Todd Chrisley has admitted that he threatened another inmate while he was in federal prison. In fact, it was William Rick Singer who is known for his college admission scandal. The two kind of got into it before. However, he was talking crap on Savannah and Todd was not going to stand for it. The two did not have problems after that. However, Todd was not messing around when it came to putting his foot down. He did not want anyone talking badly about his children. It seems as though Todd was not messing around with someone talking badly about Savannah. He put his foot down immediately, and the situation never occurred again. He was going to defend his daughter. He was already in prison, so he did not mind doing what he had to do. Thankfully, it never came to that point. However, he was prepared to do whatever he had to. What do you think about this situation? Are you shocked that Todd said this? Sound odd in the comments below. We would love to hear your thoughts on this situation. Todd Chrisley admits he threatened another inmate while in prison in a low-center single-lane hallway buzzed with the hum of fluorescent lights in the federal prison camp at Pensacola, Florida. Doors on either side were clad in steel, each concealing disturbed lives propelled by regret, defiance, or desperation. It was in this oppressive corridor that reality star-turned-inmate Todd Chrisley found himself one afternoon facing a man whose reputation had preceded him. William Rick Singer, the infamous architect behind one of the NFL's college admissions most notorious scandals. Todd, whose days once revolved around designer suits, luxury cars, and the bright lights of reality television, now navigated narrow hallways and shared bunks with strangers. Yet, one encounter in particular stirred something unexpected: rage, loyalty, and a burst of primal protective instinct on. A storm gathers its journey to Pensacola began in January 2023, when he and his wife, Julie, reported to prison following their convictions for bank and wire fraud, tax evasion, and conspiracy, page6.com. Todd was assigned to the minimum security camp in Florida. His wife was sent to the Federal Medical Center in Kentucky, and the physical and psychological separation weighed heavily. Inside, life was a routine of roll calls, plastic utensils, squeaky bunks, and hollowed-out corridors. He endured, he prayed, he worked out. He immersed himself in the daily reality of confinement. Hours stretched into days, and days blurred into months. By mid-2024, he'd adopted a defensive posture towards staff and fellow inmates alike, though he claimed his ultimate goal was keeping his own spirit unbroken. His outward posture was combative, an armor formed long ago on reality TV and reinforced in courtrooms too. A clash of titans one afternoon, while walking the routine yard corridors, Todd spotted Rick Singer, familiar not as a cellmate, since Singer had served time earlier and had been transferred to Pensacola, but recognizable nonetheless. Their worlds were starkly different. Chrisley, the flamboyant patriarch. Singer, the powerhouse behind a scandal perceived as emblematic of privilege and deceit. What began as a strained civility eroded into bitterness, triggering months of tension. Todd resented the fact that Singer, known for touting innocence and falsely claiming he hadn't cooperated with investigators, stood in continual defiance of accountability. Singer's rhetoric, denying being an informant and laying blame on everyone but himself, echoed loudly in the communal space. According to Todd, the final spark came when Singer made remarks implied to be referencing Savannah, Todd's daughter, and a symbol of his deeper vulnerability. People.com 3. Threat made in a dark corner. Imagine Todd, alert and determined, stepping towards Singer in a secluded section of the yard. Recounted here. There is no immovable transcripts, but the intent is unmistakable. A threat. Supposedly delivered with unflinching clarity, it was issued not out of bravado, but out of raw paternal defense. Some accounts presume the words were sharp, perhaps violent, but never sweetened with charm. Instead, it was the substance and sincerity of the threat that lingered. Todd, already known for his unwavering position on truth and dignity, leaned on instinct to fight anyone who dared harm his family. The corridor fell silent, charged with tension. The threat, though never broadcast, reportedly reverberated across the yard. A warning issued in hushed tones, conveyed not with theatrics, but with hardened ferocity. Aftermath and escalation. Word of the showdown spread fast. Prison gossip moves like wildfire, and soon guards were discussing the incident in hushed tones. Some questioned whether this would warrant Todd's transfer to a higher security institution. It seemed that drama might climb the bureaucratic ladder alongside it. Reddit.com. Yet, surprisingly, nothing dramatic occurred beyond furtive speculation. Singer maintained normalcy, and Todd was ultimately not moved. Instead, the brush with violence cemented his reputation among fellow inmates. A celebrity unafraid to challenge those within prison's intricate unofficial hierarchy. Within weeks, the tension dissolved into uneasy coexistence. No extra punches flew, no retaliatory threats echoed. The threat had done its job. It was heard and apparently respected. In a setting ruled by controlled violence, it was clarity more than chaos that carried sway. Mindset behind Barsted's sister in defense wasn't aggression, it was protection. He had made it clear to staff that unjust behavior toward him or his family would be met with swift personal defense, a general defiance toward authority. Corrective officers, whom he saw as making life miserable, was part of his survival mode. Pages6.com. He viewed the world of prison as divided between the voices of authority and those who dared question it. He was determined to be in the latter camp, drawing boundaries around his family with unapologetic intensity. In the same podcasts and news appearances, Todd recalled moments of religious reflection, of solitude in prayer, and of mental resistance against the cage around him. He refused to let the walls define who he was, even as he navigated a realm where strength could mean survival. 6. Public reaction outside prison walls. The story raged. On his daughter's podcast, Todd's account was shared alongside other revelations: hatred for staff, claims of unsanitary conditions, blackmail schemes from inmates demanding thousands monthly for protection. People.com. Media outlets captured the drama from contrasting angles. Some echoed his explanation of a protective stance. Others framed it as celebrity theatrics. The anecdotes about dead animals in food storage, extortion plots, and prison authorities tampering with church services fueled conflicting perceptions. Reaction threads online were a whirlwind of admiration, skepticism, and sarcasm. Some saw a courageous father protecting his child. Others read it as calculated stunts, fighting for media attention even in the smallest shadow of Prison 7. Redemption and reflection, all of which begs the question: what happens after prison? In May 2025, Todd and Julie were both granted presidential pardons, bringing an official close to their sentences. People.com. Whether motivated by politics, forgiveness, or influence, the result was absolute freedom. Todd stepped out of those corridors changed. In public appearances, he described both the blessings and horrors of life behind bars, calling it life-altering and vowing to advocate for others. He pledged to translate his experiences into awareness, empathy, and reform. The incident with Singer, in particular, became part of the broader story he now used to describe the prison system's complexities, where strength and fear, defense and dignity, threaten and protect, are intertwined. 8. A father's fierceness in nonfiction. Life is messy. Todd Chrisley's prison threat isn't a scripted scene from reality television. It's a flash of raw humanity in a place built to erase it. Some will call it violence. Others will see love. For him, it was clarity in chaos, an instinctive response to protect his own. No marker. No hero. No villain. Just a father standing up in the only way he knew how. 9. The next chapter. Free again. Todd and Julie are ready to re-enter public life. A docuseries is in production, set to explore their journey, before, during, and after prison. That near fight with Rick Singer, that brief flashpoint, may well be captured on film. But this time, it won't play out behind steel doors. It will play out under spotlights, with cameras rolling and narratives forming. This is no longer prison drama. It's prime time, and Todd Chrisley is not just a character.